right. I believe we are live on the YouTube, hopefully.
My iced coffee was delicious, thank you.
Can everybody see this map in the Discord well?
Yeah, looks good.
Awesome. Anyone, can you check real quick and see if I'm live on YouTube? Sorry to be so needy today. Appreciate you, fam. They probably can't hear you whispering like that, no? Dope, thank you. All right, man. I guess I should wait the next 4 minutes, huh, to actually start on time. We're like all ready to go today. It's pretty awesome. Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Any questions, comments, concerns about today's situation or anything in general? Nice. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I'll just. Yes, hear it, bro.
I had a quick read of the text. So, like, is it assumed that you have an AR?
Yes, it's all going to be AR platform, is the assumption. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and start yammering a little ahead of time today rather than have dead space. So, the situation is the year is 2028. Trump has run for a third term. This caused the Republican Party to fracture, the Democratic Party being largely irrelevant. So the Republican Party fractured between Christians, tech bro capitalists, and nationalists. Texas formally declared secession, but a few weeks later, the governor was assassinated, and the Texas legislature was locked out of their building and banned from convening by the new America First Nationalist Party. Curfews and checkpoints have been commonplace throughout Texas. Police vehicles have been replaced by National Guard personnel and equipment with new AFN symbolism freshly spray painted on them. As the Texas summer heat wave begins to set in, the state experiences rolling blackouts from time to time. The crypto mining farms are helping fund the AFN. So the massive mining farms that are in Texas, because we're a crypto-friendly state, are taking priority over the residential areas, which is causing like elderly people and stuff to die of heat stroke. And you see an emergency broadcast AFN issues stating that the Texas infrastructure cannot handle the immigrant influx and new extreme deportation measures will begin soon. Living in a suburb outside of America, or outside of the Austin area. Goodness, my mind got sidetracked for a second, boys. Living in a suburb outside the Austin area, you hear reports that the main hospital, St. David's in Austin proper, has been taken over by AFN forces. They are not allowing anyone other than visually ethnic whites to enter the hospital based on non-ability to certify citizenship. Additionally, they are demanding a $100 fee for each individual person that they do allow into the hospital as a new war tax. Anyone even remotely upset or protesting this is quickly shot, and the total body count is rapidly rising by the hour. You are a prepared citizen, and you have been building a small local community, a mix of concerned dads and friends you have made in precision gas gun matches over the last few years. You have a total of 10 men, yourself, six guys from the SPR or the gas gun matches, right? So they're SPR DMR style shooters, and then 3 just regular dads that are in decent shape with decent gear. They just have standard ARs, red dot type situation. Everyone knows each other, everyone has radios, and everyone has done very, very basic quote-unquote training together. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. You mentioned a hospital. Is there a reason for that? I was wondering, like, do we have any civilians we need to take care of for this dad population?
Yeah, so in this scenario, there's nobody in your immediate area that's specifically sick, but this is like the main hospital. So, anybody that needs to go to the hospital is going to have to come here, which is one of the reasons that the AFN selected to set this up at this location, because they know a bunch of people are going to be ultimately forced to come here and try and plead some way to get in. So, no, you're not under any, like, your kid doesn't need a kidney transplant tomorrow or anything like that. But in general, right, like, this is, in my opinion, you don't have to have the same opinion, but in my opinion, stuff like the power grid, the water purification, water towers, and medical system, and free access to roadways are like things that, as a freedom-loving American, I would be interested in defending. Right? I want myself as well as anybody else to be able to go to the hospital without having to pass through some sort of military checkpoint, be extorted, or at risk of getting shot at.
That makes sense.
So, anybody have any more questions, comments, or concerns about the situation? All right, so as we see here, this is I-35, a major interstate highway. Right, here's the nearest on and off ramps. There's some more back up here. We can see an even bigger view right here, right? There's that hospital. And then an even more zoomed in view up here if we need to. But, so you would likely be coming either on this MSR or by a different way and then approaching through these suburbs, right? That's all up to you. And we can go to the zoomed out map if you need, just orienting you, right? So this is the main MSR. This is the hospital itself. We can see they've established a double vehicle checkpoint right here at this main drop-off location for the hospital, and they have a support element, right, that they swap people in and out of post every 4 hours or 6 hours or whatever they're doing, based in the parking garage right here. So there are some other individuals garrisoned, and then this is like a patrol base or forward outpost the AFN has set up from their most local National Guard outpost, which is a good like 60 or 70 miles away.
Do we have information on their total fighting strength?
Sure. So you know that there's 2 Humvees parked with up guns. You're not sure whether it's a 240 or a 50 cal because this is all just reports from civilians. And then there's like a small fire team or 2 fire team size, right? 4 to 8 dudes manning those 2 vehicles and controlling the checkpoint. And then you don't know exactly how many, but you know that there's probably double or triple that number housed in that parking garage that are swapping out with them every so often on a post rotation. If you want more intel than that, you'll have to conduct your own reconnaissance.
I have just one more question. Since this is a occupied hospital right now, are the staffing levels, are they the military? Is it a military hospital, or do they still have the staff working there?
Yes, it's a total civilian infrastructure, and just they sent out like a platoon of AFN forces to seize this hospital and make it a control point to push their will.
Right. Would you say that your mission is to therefore retake the hospital?
Yeah, so I guess I should have put that right. And I guess I half left it blank in case you wanted to write a topic of discussion. I would say my personal thought on this scenario given to me would be that regardless of whatever political affiliation or stuff is, right, these people took control by force. They have issued curfews. They have restricted movement. They are now restricting access to medical. Even if you want to whatever, say you like the deportation method, even though I think this is exuberantly extreme, they're still extorting the people they are allowing access to. So I think it's pretty hard to paint these guys as like the quote unquote good guys or like okay with what they're doing. And right before they start restricting access to water and stuff like that, I think this would be a good opportunity to start at least making them feel uncomfortable about having freedom of movement in my area of operation.
What's oh, sorry. Wanna go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what type of operation are we trying to make this? Is this just gonna be a one and done kind of thing? Hit them hard and like get the fuck out, or are we trying to occupy?
Yeah, I would. That's kind of. This is all on you, right? But the game is also to be realistic with your force. So you have 10 guys that you're gonna load up in whatever 3 or 4 cars and roll out with to do this. And then as the situation goes, who knows what'll happen? But that right now is your force projection strength. And
Realistically,
yeah,
this is gonna be like, okay, let's punch them really hard and then free off like a fucking grenade.
sure. And as I said, just to remind everybody, right? This platoon has been sent out. This is like it's in an urban area, so it doesn't fit the doctrine perfectly. But this is essentially like a patrol base, and they're forward operating pretty far away from their mother force, their sister force, or I guess their mother force at the local National Guard base. That's like 70 miles away. So they're not going to be able to at least rapidly reinforce, and they're also like they. This is a highly contested thing. There's multiple organizations vying for power. They're having infrastructure and finance and manpower issues, right? I didn't like really go into all the weeds, but kind of some of this stuff is assumed, right? These guys just kind of recently seized power. They're just like told the National Guard, "Hey, we're in charge of you now." And a lot of guys, some guys agreed, some guys left, whatever. They spray painted new symbolism on a bunch of equipment, and they're just kind of like trying to make it happen. So it's not they are a lot of them themselves military trained individuals and active, previously active duty military members or whatever, reservists, etc., and it's military-esque equipment, military grade equipment, whatever you want to call it. But they don't have the logistics of the previous American federal government that you're thinking of, right? They can't just like call in fucking 30 Apaches to come in here and handle business. But they do have like whatever, a 240 or a 50 cal and frag grenades and
Do we have any? Are we the only like force in the area? Do we have any connections with other friendly forces?
right as of no, go ahead, you're good.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to take, I guess, an entire platoon with just 10 guys.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely, cat out of the bag. Obviously, hopefully everybody was thinking this. We're not shouldn't be planning a direct attack, right? Exactly. Us 10 guys probably can't directly come up here and overwhelm and seize this structure from these people. That's probably not going to be the correct plan of attack. And to answer your question directly, yes, as of now, right, the only planning and coordination you have is with these individuals. Though obviously in the greater area where there's millions of people living, yes, for sure there's other whatever. There's criminal gangs that have weaponry. There's other organizations that wish they were in power that are going to be possibly terroristically or guerrilla attacking the AFN. There's local militia. It's Texas. Everybody has a gun. There's the previous law enforcement that just went home and is no longer receiving a paycheck anymore. So, like, is there a possibility of other groups? Yeah, for sure. But you also don't know anybody well enough beyond these 10 guys and yourself. You don't have a larger network. You can't. It would be probably not good to just, like, run around town with a bullhorn being like, hey, we're going to go attack the hospital. Who wants to join? Join in. You don't know who's friends with the AFN that's going to contact them, et cetera, et cetera. So you're in a sticky situation, right? Which is why part of the scenario. that it's you know, this isn't World War II where it's us and them and we're all uniformed and it's clean cut. It's a very complex situation.
Can I just offer? Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'm just saying, I'm ready to go into the planning stage. I have an idea.
Okay, who was that that wanted to say something first?
Oh, it was Torque and Dolphin. I just wanted to offer just two pieces for whoever is like taking the lead on this. So I worked in the hospital system for like a couple of years now, and I just want to say like the reason this freaks me out is because hospitals are designed to be fortresses. Like you cannot cut the power to this thing. Like it has its own power. It's like its own water. It's I mean you already know the walls are all concrete. It's multiple buildings, multiple stories. But the other thing is like for whatever kind of our plan is, like we still have to realize like this is an active hospital with like actively like staff working treating civilian patients. So like anything we do that compromises care, it's gonna like really just it's gonna prevent staff from either coming in, which is gonna lead to like people dying basically because no care happening. So I just want to say like if we make that our consideration, like that would have to be like one of our considerations, just so we kind of limit the loss of life.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think those are great points, Torque and Dolphin. I absolutely agree.
As the mission was stating, these guys are limiting access to healthcare. So to increase our public image, hearts and minds, we open up the access to this hospital, tell them, hey, like, we're doing this for you guys, and we dip out.
Yeah, I also agree with that. We just have to be very careful with how we do it.
Yeah.
Like bad look to start blasting 50 cal rounds into the hospital because there's a dude bunkered in or whatever the case, right? As things go on.
So going, if we're ready to go into the planning stages, I have a couple of ideas.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you want to take it. Go ahead and go for it, brother.
So since we have a team of 10, I think we're gonna do a fake injury play. Send a team of two plainclothes in to kind of scout the area, get seen in the ER, and just scope out the field and overall atmosphere. Try to gauge a number of combatants and report back. If we're able to, we'll send up one of our teams, two teams to observe the checkpoint and monitor rotations.
Okay, so
As
you
well as just gauge enemy equipment.
so you want these guys to just approach the hospital like they need some medical care?
Yes.
All right. So they come in.
No weapons. How they
Yep. Yeah. What's up?
I have a quick question.
Let's hear it.
What's the ethnic breakdown of our group? Because I heard that we are white species.
Yes. Yes. No. Yeah. 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 Let's just say standard American percentages, right? So you're like what 60% white guys, 13% of you. So one black dude, one Asian guy, probably like two Mexicans, and then the rest white or something like that. Does that make sense? Yeah. 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 Mixed ethnicity, but there's definitely plenty of white dudes around.
So we have our two white guys going into the hospital to do scouting. We'll keep a small team above, or at least across the road, maybe on a rooftop, or if we're able to occupy one of the buildings in order to monitor the checkpoint and entrance of the hospital. And we'll establish like a cop just a couple down, like a mile or two down the MSR, just so that way we have an area to reach. We'll also establish 3 different fallback points if they're compromised.
Okay.
Probably good egress points are along, can't see that road that's underneath or across the overpass. Going down Edgewood, the cul-de-sac on Edgewood.
Edgewood.
Edgewood Avenue. It's right next to the MSR.
Here's the MSR. Edgewood. Got it. Right here.
So yeah, I have one set up there.
Okay.
Another one to the north on Redwood or Red RW. If you can scroll up. You can't see that road
We can do a bigger. We can zoom out more if we want.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, right there. Hancock.
Hancock. Where are you seeing Hancock?
It's on the opposite side of the MSR.
Got it. Hancock. Yep. Okay.
And Kirkwood Road. Those will be our 3 different rendezvous points. And we can have Alpha Bravo Charlie. Just make it easy for egress location.
And you said Kirkland Road? Is that what you said?
Kirkwood Road.
Kirkwood.
Looks like there might be some type of industrial complex right there.
Talk me onto it, brother. Oh, Kirkwood. Here we go. Right here?
Yeah.
Got it.
Right now, this is just like recon and the reporting phase. Just getting a salute report done.
Just bear with me. I'm still learning all this applications. Pretty new to this right now. Okay, so yeah, so you observe. You've got a team in the hospital. They're reporting to you that inside the hospital, once you gain entry into the hospital, it's pretty chill. There's like the only military projection force that they have seems to be the checkpoints and then the encampment they have at the base floor of the parking garage here. They said when they walked in, the Humvees had there was one 240 and one 50 cal. Each one had a guy up in the turret manning it, and then there were 4 individuals on the ground physically manning the vehicle checkpoint. There was some C wire, concertina wire, and stuff helping control the crowd and steer traffic where they wanted.
What's that crowd atmosphere like entering the hospital?
Yeah, really, really tense. There are public executions happening. Not like at the cyclic rate, but once every 5 or 6 minutes, you hear some pops. Obviously, the guys that are in there, and the guys at distance don't have a super beautiful picture, but it's pretty clear to everybody what's going on, even based off the sound signature. That anytime somebody gets fussy and tries to demand or whatever, regardless of what their ethnicity is, they just catch lead. That's the problem solved.
Do our teams have cameras or just like cell phone cameras?
Yeah, for sure.
So these are things obviously we're gonna want to document.
Okay. Yep. So you pull out your one guy brought his super badass DLSR camera, and he's got his telescopic lens on it, and he is doing his best to record the incident from the elevated rooftop observation post over here.
Inside the hospital, are there roving patrols?
Nope.
Or people just guarding or monitoring hallways? Or
The only military presence is at the checkpoint outside.
so our demise operation. Once we have our team get seen by the ER, air quotes, and exfil, we'll regroup, kind of discuss our options. Honestly, I'm leaning more towards like a hit run. We'll send in our teams like we're getting ready to be seen. We'll engage the total of 6 at the main gate. If possible, are they just doing basic pat downs, or how were they able to gain access? Are they just checking IDs?
Yeah, it's very rudimentary. It's literally ethnic based. So the people walk up, and anybody that is not just doesn't look white, they say, "There's no medical attention for you here. Go away." And anybody that does look white, they say, to get into the hospital, you have to pay us $100. It's part of the war effort tax. And anybody that gets mouthy or pushy or demanding gets shot.
What equipment do we have?
Right. So you just have nope everything that you would normally have access to as an American civilian. Everybody's carrying ARs. 6 of you have more precision style setups and have been participating in precision rifle matches with them. And the other 3 are just dads with like ARs and red dots. Maybe one guy's got an ACOG or something. And you're all in decent shape. You've all done some light training together. But yeah, nothing, you don't have anything super spicy going on. Obviously, whatever you know is commercially available to you. This is still pretty logistically speaking modern America, so you could go get whatever you can go get right now.
So if that's the case, we'll have our guys set up on. Well, and if anyone disagrees with me, obviously we can discuss this. But since we have precision rifles, we have 3 of the guys set up across or in high point positions. And honestly, I'm ready to. We'll hit these guys and fucking turn across. And well, at least make it known, like, hey, like, don't mess with fucking freedom, right?
Sure. So you're gonna just try to have some precision harassing fire and then just roll out right away. That's your game plan.
Well, three high point and then rest on the ground.
Okay.
Because otherwise they're gonna get engaged from the 4 ground forces. I want 2 with 1 backup, just so they can take out the machine guns. If we're able to steal the equipment, that would be great also. But
For sure. So you're gonna just have some dudes roll up in their car and then like pop out, pretty much like drive-by status almost, or
the other guys are gonna be in the crowd. They're gonna be trying to get into the hospital.
got it.
Since they're not really doing pat downs or anything, we can just go in with basic handguns. Once our sniper teams engage the machine guns, take them out, then the other ones will just turn and burn these fucking 4 guys that are out there because they won't be expecting from behind.
Okay. So what size force do you want in the crowd?
5 guys, and we'll have 3 up top that state, and we'll have 2 control.
Okay. And where do you want that control element?
Their ARs for like just supporting fire. Probably up with the snipers.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to stay?
Disagree.
Is this an open discussion?
Sure. Yeah.
Just take the Israel approach and shoot it with a rocket.
Well, we don't have rockets.
Damn. Unfortunate. That was an oversight.
No, it's all good. All right. No, go ahead.
I think I need to say it, but our white guys are the ones going to be entering, so they can actually slip behind the infantry that's at the checkpoint.
Okay, sure. So we'll just say that all works out. All your precision shooters were your ethnic guys, and all your non-precision shooters, who are enough of them, were your white dudes. That's fine. We'll play that game.
Got a bunch of Jason Bournes in here.
Yeah, man. So these guys are in the crowd. It's about 20 or 30 people. You're set up. You get the green light over the radio. You have 4 precision shooters take out the 2 turret gunners, right? So 2 guys for each turret gunner, and they all synchronize that. So bam, all at the same time. 4 shots go out. Both turret gunners drop headshots, drop slump down in the vehicle. The people in the crowd pull out their pistoles and start scratting. There is 2 casualties from out of the 4 from the AFN forces on the ground, and the other 2 are able to immediately turn and run into the hospital. The crowd goes crazy. They all start running all over the place, scattering.
Our guys are going to load up the equipment. We're not going to pursue.
Okay. I'm not going to get fancy. Okay. So these guys run and occupy these 2 vehicles, and then you guys depart which direction?
They're going to go left onto the MSR, and if you can go to one of my egress points. I want them to go to the one over by Kirkwood, and they're going to stow the vehicle and equipment in
Okay.
the industrial complex
That's interesting. They disappeared. That's fine. So those are stashed. They peeled out of there. And just as they're peeling out, a large group of about 12 guys pour out of this lower parking garage, and they do their best to shoot at you, but you peel off and you get away. And now these guys start immediately occupying the crowd. They, out of anger, shoot a couple minority individuals that were in the crowd, scattering in the back as they run. And they kind of take a hard position, obviously with no heavy equipment any longer, just light infantry. But they all stand to pick up a piece of cover and kind of surround the front of this hospital area.
Obviously, the sniper team documenting all this while it's happening.
Correct.
So now we have your equipment. At this point, our force is outnumbered, so I'm going to rule that it's probably better to disengage and then fall back to the Edgewood Avenue egress point and then wait for pickup.
Okay.
Or if we have a vehicle stashed there, then to rendezvous over in Brookwood, take as much equipment from those Humvees and the dead guys as possible and load up, and hopefully those Humvees don't get caught, but we're found.
Sure. All right. So let's say that all works great, and you are able to evade, and now you guys all evade. You're back home, way off the map. You now have 2 Humvees and 1 240, 150 cal mounted with the scissor trigger and 3,000 rounds for each, right, stored inside the truck. And the hospital is still under occupation. Now they are being even more stringent with people, even more quick to shoot people. But they obviously have no, right, so this is the next day. They haven't resupplied. There hasn't been any more trucks or any more personnel that have come to occupy the position.
So we'll make our point today. We'll have our mounted. Are we able to dismount that 240 from the top of the turret?
Yes, you can, but it has the scissor trigger on it, right? It's got, you know what I'm talking about. It's not a shoulder fire weapon. It's a tripod or turret only weapon system right now.
Gotcha. Not super feasible. Any of my team leaders have any ideas for this one?
Yeah, somebody else could take over if they want to.
My plan, if they're that fortified, I don't know if they're willing to, but maybe displace them from the hospital so we can defeat them in detail. Yeah.
Okay, so how would you get them to be not at the hospital?
We got the 240, we got the Humvees, so we have mobility. So just drive by.
Why not do a mechanized assault? I apologize for cutting in, but do a mechanized assault from the front and from the rear on East 30th Street, and then shoot right into that area, and have your DMR guys set up in a different position than last time, and have you guys that have just basic ARs do the mechanized part.
Yeah, based on the level of firepower that we are possessing and that the numbers are a bit closer, I think that would probably be a successful gunfight. However, I would suspect the hospital infrastructure, if not personnel, to take some pretty heavy casualties.
I have another idea that's more espionage based. I know I'm not trying to be all 007 here, but
No, I mean,
another small team in, and we start fire in the hospital, because then they have to lock down the hospital. They have all those compartment doors that they shut.
okay.
So that way it would also stop the AFN forces from being able to retreat into the hospital. Or even we have one guy do that. He locks down the hospital, and then we can engage with our force.
Okay. Sure, we can incorporate that.
I actually want to back that up. What Hippie just said, that I feel like is going to work really well.
There's definitely,
like cigarettes,
yeah,
and then put it.
I would say there's definitely a level of risk involved, but it's far from a suicide mission. Okay, so like we can definitely do that, but what else you want to do? How else you want to make this game plan go down?
What we really need to do is divert their forces. Instead of hitting them simultaneously from front and behind, because at that point they're all together. Um, can I see a view of the hospital? Are they still all at that checkpoint? Like, obviously we'll need to do recon, but if we could have a diversion come in from the back side of the hospital on Red River Street and flank around onto East 30th Street, maneuvering into the front hospital parking lot and outmaneuvering them. If we're able to cause a diversion, cause smoke grenades or some things we have, because I don't know about y'all, I carry smoke grenades,
Sure.
but whether it's tossing smoke or somebody pops off a couple of rounds, so they send troops that way, and we just back out towards Red River Street again and take up positions to engage that force, and then they can roll up with the Humvee onto East 32nd Street and engage the checkpoint with whatever remaining forces they have left.
Sure. I definitely like where your head's at. Relax. So is that what?
Allies already inside the hospital?
Are there any allies inside the hospital? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, like, do we have them inside map?
In this scenario, we will have somebody inside the hospital setting a fire, so we will have somebody inside the hospital. Yes.
Any other thoughts before we proceed?
Do hospitals have a laundry room? Maybe our
Yes.
guy can still uniform. Yeah, let's have him do that. If that's any parts.
Could we use
Honestly,
like homemade thermite with tiki torch out of tiki torches?
we don't want to destroy the hospital and cause enough damage where they have to shut it down. Maybe just like a wing, so not like a
Yeah,
stationary
but the
wing
thing
or
about it is, it's a concrete structure, man.
So
I like your aggressiveness. Go ahead, twerking.
oh no, I was just saying, like, I have two questions for Hippie. Like, we're going in guns blazing. I'm just wondering, what kind of, like, did we, maybe I missed that part, did we gather, like, any intelligence before we launched this assault? What does that look like?
we
We
gathered intel the day before.
right, and then we conducted our harassing fires on them, and our harassing fire slash ambush on them, and we were successful largely. And then we got civilian report that the next day they had not been reinforced, and right, so their numbers were what 14 total, I'll say, and but it's just light infantry. There's no longer any crew serves or heavy equipment, and which I guess I'll just say it out loud. It's hinting at the fact that they don't have a large ability to reinforce. Right, that they were there overnight after an attack and lost a large portion of their firepower, and it was not replaced. Kind of means that they were left out here to do the best they could, and it is what it is.
Oh, okay, in that case, I mean, obviously it's Hippie's call, obviously, but I actually suggest, since we have cell phones, civilians have cell phones, that um, we're being more cautious with this and actually picking off guys one by one. So if civilians can, call in, report, staff in the hospital can call us, report where, any particular guard is. These guys.
Sure.
That's a strategy I recommend.
Yeah, the issue is going to be you don't have that level of network. Do you know all the cell phone numbers of the staff that work at your local hospital? Well, I mean, if you didn't work there, if you do work there, then just pick a different infrastructure? Do you know all the cell phone numbers of the guys that work at your power plant?
No, but I understand where you're coming from. Instead of going like full guns blazing, what we could do is do harassing fire, draw them out, and then or give them an opportunity to surrender. So, say we set up a sniper team over by that building on East 30th Street that we can't see super well. It looks like there's a high rise on the south side. Yeah, about there. We could do harassing fire to get troops to engage, and we could ambush them on East 30th Street while they try to maneuver to get to the sniper team. Stage one of the Humvees, probably on the west side on East 32nd Street, all the way at the end. Once they start to maneuver, we roll the Humvee up, have troops come from Mary's Cafe, as well as from the south side. Where's that? Not by 35, but there's looks like there's a complex right there. Not other side of the road. By Hammond Avenue.
Hammond Avenue. Hammond, right here. This.
Guys, there's sorry. Oof. Yeah, about right there. We can try to flank them like that. Because then they're maneuvering to try to take on the sniper team that's doing harassing fires with their sniper rifle, precision, and ARs. If we roll at them simultaneously with the Humvees and personnel, I honestly think they get this scared shitless and they surrender.
Okay, so just hit me with the plan one more time, so it's all laid out and I understand it.
So, one guy is going to go inside the hospital. He's going to set a small fire inside one of the bathrooms, so that way we can close down the hospital. Once we have confirmation that the doors or the access doors have closed, is when our sniper team will engage. And then
From right here, sniper team from the south.
Yep, they'll engage if they have eyes on the checkpoint.
Okay.
Being very cautious about it. I don't want to lose anyone this go. Just our goal is to either seek, destroy, or capture. So these guys will try to maneuver out to the open to take on our sniper team. We'll roll at them with the Humvee from East 30th Street and 4 guys, and then our other guys will roll from the opposite side with the Humvee, and we'll just box these guys
Opposite side from here, from right here, like this.
from Hammond Avenue.
From Hammond Ave. So you want a Humvee to come down that way, and then a Humvee to come down this way, like that, and then pursue both like this.
The backstory, there's East 30th Street for the other Humvee.
East 30th.
Yeah.
Right there. Got it.
They'll come to support the sniper team.
Got it.
One will be flanking.
Okay.
From that position, that you'd be kind of friendly fucking once you get into the final firing position with the Humvees.
If you pulled all the way up like this, it could be bad.
I would scoot it back just a tad.
Yeah, this guy probably won't come up like that. You'll set up an L shape like this, where there'll be fires like that.
L-shaped ambush. Thank you so much.
That was a good call, though. How I originally moved those pieces wasn't the greatest. Goodness. All right. So, that's your plan, brother?
Yes, sir.
Okie doke, here we go. So, this gentleman is able to walk in. No big deal. He's white. He pays his $100. He goes to go see the doctor. He walks in. He goes to the bathroom. The first one he can see, the closest to the doors. Proceeds to start a fire in the trash can. Immediately, the alarms start to go off. A bunch of people start to shuffle around. He just walks out and walks further into the hospital, takes a seat in a regular lobby area, and does nothing. These guys start to scramble out here as the doors shut down. None of them make it in. They're not sure what to do. As that's happening, this sniper team opens up fire. That's pretty cool, huh? Sniper team opens up fire. Right? Let's say they immediately drop. I wish I could figure out how to do that. Whatever. They immediately drop 4 guys. Right? The most exposed people immediately get deleted because we have 4 precision shooters locked in. As that's going on, these guys are like, what the heck? They start to take cover behind some stuff, right? And return fire in this general direction, but they definitely don't know where you're at. At that time, this Humvee proceeds to pull down and come up like this and lay heavy fire into them. This fire team is immediately deleted by that 50 cal. This fire team seeks and runs into the building. This fire team runs off into this lightly wooded courtyard. This is a parking garage. They seek shelter in the parking garage.
What's that? So we have our other Humvee on East 30th Street.
Yep, the
I'd keep that one posted on East 32nd and move up more just to have him cover, just in case those guys pop in, and then draw that to about the corner of the building so you're able to cover to the parking lot so nobody can, to the corner of Central Texas on the left side back
Yeah.
with the Humvee.
And then we have the sniper team watch the parking garage, make sure those guys don't try to come out and get our guys on the ground because that other Humvee will dismount. On
Keep the 50 cal runner, man.
Oh well, he's gonna stand obviously, but
keep talking.
we'll pursue the guys inside the west side of the hospital, inside that wooded area.
Okay. So we send a dismount fire team to pursue this direction.
Yes, sniper team is gonna maintain eyes on the parking garage. That way they don't get fucked from behind.
Got you. So as they turn this corner and make their way, they do catch some pop shots from the direction of the parking garage, one of the elevated floors, out of view of your sniper team. But these gentlemen are not precision shooters, so nothing connects. These guys hurry and scuttle around behind some cover around yonder and begin to get engaged with this fire team. And you each take a casualty. So it is now 2 3-man teams. These individuals... Yep, go ahead.
I was gonna say, are we able to get our team from Central, that's next to Central Texas Clinic Research on Red River, have 2 of those guys go up to the north and cut through that? Looks like there's a generator right there.
Yep.
They're able to kind of go through, and they'll flank around.
Yep, okay. So this Humvee dismounts. You send this dismount team around the corner. They catch these guys as they're trying to evade deeper into the lightly wooded area, and they catch them off guard and completely eliminate them.
Excellent. So we'll evac our casualties to the nearest Humvee. Humvee will pull up so we can get him in.
He's in.
And then at this point, honestly, if we can get these guys to surrender in the parking complex, like surround them if we can, or if we have a PA system.
Sure. Okay, so you pull the Humvee up. Go for it, Highbar.
Sorry. I have a pretty twisted idea. How about like we chop off the heads of one of the guys we just killed and then just post it outside for the team in the garage to see?
What the fuck?
That's a little barbaric. I think that's going to be bad for public relations.
That would give the sign of no quarter, though. That would make him less likely to surrender if we do that.
This is early days of like this is early days of insurrection, and we need hearts and minds. So we're trying to convert people to the cause still, and that's why we're retaking the hospital in the first place.
Okay.
People have access to medical care. They'll be like, "Oh, this group fucking saved us." They allowed us free medical care once again.
All right, so the hospital doors. Hey, I'm not personally against it. I'm just saying somebody's gonna get yelled at. All right, so the hospital doors are opened. That casualty gets to go in. Staff is like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." We pull both these Humvees up. Right, we got one parked right here. We got one parked right here. We have two fire teams dismounted behind light cover in the courtyard and a sniper team in an elevated position across the way. And we are able to yell, communicate to this team of scared 19 and 20-year-olds, telling them to surrender, come out, and they come out with their hands up and they say, "Oh my God, we were just in the National Guard. We didn't even want to be here. What the hell?" And, yep, pretty much index on scenario, but I'm happy to discuss anything you guys think about after actions from that point.
Public execution.
I love it.
Public execution.
Well, no, honestly, apology is what I do.
Yeah, they're probably... Yeah, go for it. Send it.
Because these guys were stopping medical care. They were being blatantly racist, obviously, only allowing white. So making them do a public apology and post it all over the fucking internet. Be like, and also I would make sure that they say, "Oh, now we support such and such in the name of our thank you for like liberating us from the AFN."
Yeah, get your little propaganda in for sure.
Hippie, I have a question for you. Since you do emergency medicine, before the like the video part, we took two casualties. Could you go over and the hospital's right there? What does like treating those casualties look like in this case?
Well, they're not gonna turn them down just because of that. So, I mean, just spot treating on the X, making sure that there's no like major bleeds, and then just backing it inside.
Yeah, pretty much tourniquets and run them into the hospital.
And that goes for the AFN forces too. We obviously aren't just gonna fucking
Sure.
dome them once we get them down.
I have mixed feelings about that though, because you're wasting your medical supplies on the enemy at that point, and that could be used for your men at a later time when you may need it.
It's situation dependent. In this scenario, there's still like generally logistics and stuff is free flowing, right? You can go get an ice cream if you want.
Oh, okay.
Well, and they're Americans, and again, we're thinking hearts and minds in this scenario. Because then they can't come back and say that we executed their guys.
But yeah, I get your point.
You don't have to execute them, but you can take the fucked up people and torture them for their information. Tell them get fucking medieval on their asses by starting off by sticking bamboo shoots that are soaked in diesel underneath the fingernails, and then peel them off individually after that. Sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Definitely save that for a super special occasion, boys and girls.
Because
I would just
they're going to be seeking reprisal eventually.
and then we can do that once we start getting officers. But this was just a contingency of like a probably like a platoon-sized element or even squad-sized element of a staff sergeant and likely a couple of other lower enlisted, maybe corporal and specialist private. These guys aren't going to have any real information.
I think the goal here should be to restore order, make sure the hospital's functioning and treating everyone regardless of what ethnicity they are.
Yeah, I would definitely be wanting to restore general order and restore access to critical infrastructure and utilities, right? If there is some sort of deportation or whatever we have to do, which I generally would agree with, probably this isn't the way. At least, hopefully, we're able to handle it in a much nicer way than anything close to this, right? So, yeah. I purposely made this like I know all this gun guys, whatever we would self-identify as, are probably somewhere on the quote-unquote right spectrum of things, right? So I wanted to set up a scenario where you had to attack somebody who also was perhaps on the same half of the spectrum as you, or whatever the case is, right? Because they had been doing something that was making society unlivable, undoable. And the way you guys played it out, it didn't end up going that way, but I wanted to incorporate other people. Like I had kind of planned for like some Antifa guys to join you and fight against these dudes as well, if things went a little differently, which is like another, like, the whole point of this, the underlying point of this scenario was to get you to not think so black and white in your own mind, because if anything does happen, right, your goal probably is going to be more, you're probably going to care more about keeping the water on than who your neighbor voted for, and whoever it is you have to fight, like, the lines are going to be a lot more mixed than I think people think they are, right? I don't think it's going to be a bunch of people with red hats lining up a black bloc and doing a militia war. I don't think that's how it's going to go down.
Would you guys say that a 10% casualty rate of civilian casualties would be an acceptable number
For what?
in the crossfire? During the crossfire, whenever you had people running out and about?
Yeah, I think that's not crazy to assume could happen in that situation. I kind of glossed over that one and didn't incorporate that in part of the scenario because my head was in other places. But yeah, there probably for sure would have been at least a few people that got shot.
So instead of the head on the spike outside, can we put like a Trump 2032 flag up or something?
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Honestly, when he said the head on the spike, I was like, bro, that's like 2050. That's not 20.
That's 2050. We're not there yet. Right, I think that's actually accurate. The two don't jive. And if you went on the head on the spike strategy, that would be like, if you either had the ability to come here and completely destroy them in like a direct attack, but kind of like raid style, where you couldn't hold the ground, but you left their bodies hanging from the gallows or whatever as a sign to whoever else might come try to reoccupy. Or alternatively, if you went into some like multi-day harassing situation where you were trying to lead small elements away and ambush them, right? If you got a fire team to follow you down an alleyway and then you killed them and got a hold of their bodies, and then like the rest of the squad wakes up the next morning to like 4 heads on a stick across the street, that's like some pretty intense levels of intimidation. But it's being like, we just beheaded your best friend, surrender to us, we're nice.
If we were to go about that route, you can guarantee that they would try to send reinforcements, or that they would make an example out of
Sure.
anyone who tries to or something like that.
It's definitely opens the door to that more, for sure. You're saying I'm a big problem that has to be squashed. If you don't squash me, I'm gonna be a big fucking problem for you.
We want to win the people's support too, so
That is true.
not likely to gain much support.
Yep.
No, because then they think we're more savage than the enemy that was already there occupying.
Yes. That all.
And be like, holy shit, what the fuck are these people gonna do? Rape and pillage the village?
Right. So that is another good point. Go ahead. You guys go for it.
Get the Humvees and drive them around town every now and then with a Trump 32 flag.
Trump 32. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Put out a calling card. Get yourself established.
One thing I think that was underutilized initially was the Humvees, because once you had them, you may as well use it mechanized and dismount on the enemy.
I'll tell you what I would have done. I would have probably originally... I would not have tried to snag the Humvees. That was pretty ballsy, and it would change the way things went a lot. I probably would have set up harassing fire and tried to... I probably would have tried to have guys, like 1 or 2 dudes come up, shoot at them at close range, and then immediately run away, and then lead them down an alleyway that was like a sniper ambush, and try to pick off, like draw the Humvees out, or a whole fire team out away from the hospital and eliminate them there. Would have been how I probably tried to do it.
Be to shoot to wound instead of shoot to kill. That way they have to take
Sure.
that guy that's screaming and hollering while panicked out with full adrenaline in the pre-assault dump.
Yeah, get a fire team to chase you, and then hit all those guys with wounding shots with your sniper team, and then have probably a Humvee supported try to come up and take them and be able to eliminate that entire force away from the hospital. Yeah, that's a good line of thought.
Yeah, I was gonna say that at the start as well, because like the only reason, I guess, like if you engage in that big of a force, the only way you're gonna get them is if you defeat them in detail, right? But I guess the elite because of the fire power. So
Yep. And the way you could deal with this, in my opinion, if you had even less people, if you just had a single team, would just be like every other day or whatever. Don't make it a regular schedule, right? Every other day, 2 days in a row, 3 days without, 2 days in a row, a week without, every other day, whatever, back and forth. Just show up and come do a harassing fire. Just make it to where like the guys that are on post are constantly thinking like, "Yep, I might get shot in the face today," and it might that takes longer. It might take a week or a month or whatever, but it's going to definitely deter the enemy from being here. And then if they're there long enough that they start bringing in like supply lines and stuff, you can start tracking those routes and ambushing those supplies and stuff like that as well.
I can guarantee you, if I had a fire team in there and then they were getting fucked up day in day out, it would demoralize them completely and not want to move.
Absolutely.
Before this, so can we extend the scenario? I know AP did an excellent job. I just want to say, like, we don't want to take two casualties, but this scenario, we are the occupying force now. You can say, but we're the good guys.
If we decide to occupy, yeah, yeah.
No, but I mean, no, we have occupied it. I think like we're the defensive, like we're the dot squad. We're defending it now. How do you defend this campus if we're only like 14 some guys, less than?
Yeah, I think realistically you don't. I don't think you. I don't think you. No, no, you're good. And you say put a pin on that. I'll let you free run, but I would say that you don't, right, because we don't have the logistical support to like stay out here. We like also have a life and kids and a job and a house and like shit to do every single day. We're not full time soldiers, so we probably cannot establish a defense and maintain control of this land. We will just have to leave, and then hopefully the reality that we exist in this area will prevent them from trying again, right? Or the long scale of warfare, the fact that every time somebody tries this somewhere around us, we do this, then the fifth time, the fourth time, whatever, they're like, all right, we get it. This is not an area we're able to operate in, which is we can correlate that to like all the recent wars we were in, Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever. There were particular areas where we tried to establish ourselves and we literally couldn't, and we kind of just gave up on those places earlier than we gave up on the rest of the country. And oftentimes those people that were deterring us from those specific locations weren't even involved in the greater conflict. They were regional militias that were like, I don't give a fuck about what's going on. It's not going on here.
Yeah, that makes
what about
sense. So,
just implanting a couple of dudes, hospital full security? We're having a couple of like one of the guys in here right now worked in a hospital, so why not just have him and like a few of his hospital buddies just constantly pulling shifts or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the logistical capabilities to do it and you think it's advantageous, then I say go for it, right? It's just, what is the logistical reality?
With the people. Honestly, if you're gonna do that, since you already established yourself as being the good guy to an extent, network with the people at the hospital so you could be the quick reaction force just in case shit goes down again.
That would probably be what I would do. I would want to establish a line of communication with the hospital. I would probably also want to be using this as a method to recruit for my local numbers and my like actual neighborhood and local community and stuff. And I would also be like, oh shit, this is like real. And start trying to network with other militia groups and like start to form an actual like defensive structure for my greater community. Cool.
I love how that's so much more wholesome than chopping their heads off.
Look, I'm not even there's a time and a place. I'm not upset about it. There's definitely a time and a place for that. Right? You're off in the fucking jungle and you're like harassing you're harassing a platoon or a squad or whatever is a super small group, and you're able to get, kill somebody that trailed off from the larger group, and they wake up and homeboy's head is on a spike. You're definitely you're mind fucking them a little bit. You're in their head all day long. There's no doubt about that. It's just not probably a good look day one of the domestic conflict in town hall to just immediately start beheading people.
I learned that from my ancestors, homie.
It's in my blood. I can't help it. All right, boys. Anybody got anything else about anything at all?
Is there a minimum time we should probably do intelligence? Like the Afghans were weeks on end.
Yeah. Again, that's a logistical and MET-TC situation. More intelligence is always good, but then there's also always a time constraint, right? So, like on this, even though there was no personal buy-in, the longer that these people were able to operate at the hospital, the more innocent lives are taken. The more people aren't able to get medical care, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't want to rush so much that it causes us to fail or die, but we also don't want to just do nothing for a month because we're busy reconning super thoroughly. And that's going to change based off every single situation and terrain and mission and the whole MET-TC. So like America was able to watch Bin Laden for so long because they didn't feel like there was a risk of him leaving where he was at, or right, and there wasn't any like threat or whatever, so they were able to just watch him for months or weeks or whatever it was and figure out all of his detailed movements and plan and all that, and that made the raid be the most successful. And because there wasn't a time constraint for that exact operation, that was the correct choice to make for that operation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty then, friends. If nobody has anything, yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Would this operation be more of a plate carrier setup over a chest rig?
I would say yes. You're going to specifically get in a gunfight. Much of your travel is going to be in vehicles, and you're in a urban situation, which means your like angles of fire and stuff and cover is going to be like a lot more difficult to deal with than in a rural setting.
And then, unless you want to save it for a future video topic, do you have a quick comment on like what level plate? Like some people seem to say like it's level 4 or don't bother.
Yeah,
Do special threat 3+ plates.
yeah. I mean, there's
Good for
yeah. It's good for M855. No, you're good, brother. You're good. Special threat plates are typically rated for M855 and below, which is going to encompass 90% of the threats you encounter. Yeah, I don't have like super strong feelings on any of it. I don't even demand like guys in my personal life to have a plate carrier armor at all. Like I get it, that's a bunch of fucking money. You probably realistically need more rice, beans, and water filtration than you need, a set of sappies. So not everybody's going to be there. If you're just getting there, do what you can. I would say avoid steel plates, right? Get something ceramic. I would get a special threat plate over a steel plate. If you have the funds, getting a high quality level 4 plate is probably the play to do. But if that's just like never going to happen, but you can make something happen, then yeah, make something happen.
Could I caveat off you for a second on body armor? If you guys are looking, man, and you need body armor, I'd check out RMA Defense. Not that I'm a shill or anything, I buy it with my own personal money. It's heavy though, for what it is.
Yeah, I don't have any brand loyalty in the armor world, or it's not my super area of expertise. I do have some plates, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If you have money, get the best plates you can get. If you don't have money, don't lose any sleep over it. Anybody else got anything else? Alrighty then, boys. I appreciate everybody's attendance. I had a lot of fun. I like this new Roll20 app we're using here. See you guys next week, same time, same place.
Let's go. Trump 2028.
Yeah, hell yeah. Later.